Now, but first, David Cameron said today that Britain will hunt down those responsible for the death of the British aid worker David Haines and bring them to justice no matter how long it takes. This morning, several leading Muslim organisations wrote to the Prime Minister urging him to refuse to legitimise the terror group. They're suggesting the group be called Un-Islamic State. Among them is the President of the Islamic Society of Britain, Sugra Ahmed.
We asked the Prime Minister to continue the good work he's doing. We asked for his support in understanding that there are nuances here, that if somebody who commits such evil and such heinous crimes calls themselves Islamic State, then we need to understand actually that there is nothing Islamic and there's nothing state-like or legal about the acts that they're committing.
So how should British Muslims react to the killings, and is it fair that they're even being asked to? Asghar Bukhari is from the Muslim Public Affairs Committee, Muslim Civil Liberties Group. Hello, Asghar.
Hello, hi.
Good evening. And Musrat Zia, General Secretary of the Muslim Women's Network. Musrat, good evening to you too.
Good evening.
What do you think, Asghar? Is it right that Muslims are even being asked about this?
Well, they can be asked for their analysis. That's one thing, fine. But to be asked anything more than that, like do we condemn it, and why are Muslims turning to this type of extremism? How can we stop ISIS? That's completely ludicrous, in my opinion.
So when David Cameron has been asked by some of these Muslim organisations to call it the Un-Islamic State, what's your reaction to that?
Incompetent. It's typical Muslim organisations trying to do the most incompetent thing ever and thinking that that's a solution. You have a group that's now taken over nearly 2 countries in the Middle East, and instead of trying to, explore what's a really kind of historical problem exacerbated by war, what they do is they say, put an un in front of it, and that way we're distancing ourselves. I mean, it's typical childish behaviour of Muslim groups in this country. It just boggles
the mind. Do you agree, Musrat?
I wouldn't quite use those terms, but I do agree that some distance has to be put in place because people are trying very hard to understand. And I think it's a result of that trying to understand what is going on with Islamic State, that Muslims are being asked for not an analysis, but certainly how they think and feel. And people such as myself, I want to distance myself from those people. I don't want to be associated with them. And if that means in the first instance it makes it easier for people to understand by putting an un in front, then I don't have an issue with that.
Is there not a danger?
Why do you feel the need? Why do you feel the need to distance yourself?
The need has been brought about because of what the media, for one, are doing, and also because world events have taken over. We don't have control.
Sorry, Asghar, I thought there's a slight delay on the line here. I thought you might want to respond to that.
That's right. I mean, for me, there's the problem. What Muslims are doing and Muslim groups are doing is saying the need has been created because the media is painting the Muslims as a homogenous whole, and if ISIS in Iraq does something or Syria does something, then we in Britain are Muslim and we're involved in that. Well, there's the problem. Stand up to the media. Don't make silly, or tap dance to the media.
Why are you here this evening, Asghar? Why are you here this evening? If you're standing up to the media, why did you not decline interview?
I've got no problem going on the media. Forgive me. I'm not saying boycott the media. I'm saying go on the media and explain the situation. Don't go on the media and tap dance to it.
But surely it's better to have a discussion and to involve people and to get people to understand rather than saying...
I'm all for a discussion. I'm all for a discussion, and that's why I'm here. What I'm not here for, or go on the media to do, is to apologise and to somehow dance to a tune made by someone else. What I do is I put the Muslim perspective forward.
Okay, let's bring in Jallo in Coventry tonight. Hello, Jallo.
Hello, yes. Yeah, I do agree that, whenever some criminal do something, just tagging their names, tagging Islam in their name, so everyone in Britain has to be apologizing and something. I think these are criminal. They are Muslim. Let's not deny that they are. We need to be kind of honest with it. They are Muslim. They create. They're doing crime. So we need to treat them as criminal rather than saying, putting all Muslim in the country or around the world saying that Islam is doing that. No, and I think the West is falling into the same trap as well, which is what happened. Is happening in the past. Is happening again.
What's the answer here, Asghar? Do we need a military response, or do we look closer at home? In other words, preventing young people from going out there and being radicalised?
Look, this is such a simple answer. When you have an understanding of what's happened over the last 100 years in the Middle East, you've had these manufactured states, then you've had dictators propped up, and you've had a hell created out of that region. And as a result of that extreme situation that's created there, an extreme reaction has taken place, a barbaric reaction. ISIS is the latest manifestation of that. Prior to that, Al-Qaeda, blah, 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 and on it goes, yeah? But so now, more bombs, more destroying people's lives isn't going to solve what created that. That type of oppressive behavior by our governments has created that extreme reaction. And guess what? We're saying, well, we're going to solve it by bombing them even more. Silly way of dealing with it. The way to solve this is very, very simple. As far as British Muslims are concerned, Muslims get angry when they see what's going on abroad, and they say, well, that is awful. We've got to do something about it, some of these Muslims. And when they do, at that juncture, they say, what can we do? And they go to these, incompetent Muslim groups, and all these groups say is, condemn it, or guess what, don't talk about it, because if you talk about it, you're an extremist, or you're an Islamist, or these kind of pathetic kind of ways of dealing with it. Instead, what they say is, we're angry too, we know what's going on abroad is unjust. Well, the way we're going to deal with it is political, peaceful, and democratic, because that brings change. Women got their rights that way, blacks got their rights that way, we can get our rights that way. We can bring a change to an unjust policy.
You can bring a change to Islamic State. You can change, aside from military action, military intervention, how do you stop Islamic State doing what they're doing? Beheading people. How do you stop that?
We have to get away from this. In my mind, and you can correct me if you feel that I'm wrong, right? In my mind, this false argument that says we're going to bomb them because they're evil. Rubbish. There's so many governments that we back that are evil, that do far worse crimes than Islamic State. Technically, I mean, if you want to get really honest about this, we're not going to bomb them because they're chopping someone's head off. Guess what? 2,000 people were killed in Palestine, 10,000 injured, 500 children were killed. We did nothing, right, for the Palestinians. How are we claiming that we're doing it because we're some moral champions? We're not moral champions. If we're going in to bomb Islamic State, it's because we're going to uphold some sort of order that we have manufactured in 1915, if we want to go back and know the honest truth. And we're trying to uphold that order. We're not doing it because we're moral champions. Let's stop lying to the public.
But Musarat, you have a British aid worker who has been murdered. You also have the factor, of course, of the apparent Britishness of the so-called John the jihadi, this person that parades himself as the murderer. And the British government have got to be seen to be reacting to that, don't they?
And I think that is the problem. Sorry to comment. I think that is the problem. Our politicians act before they have to be seen doing something. I mean, we have, just to give you a bit of, some background. With Mujahideen in Afghanistan, we did something. They came back. 9/11 created. We backed Saddam. Saddam came to do what he didn't quite. Libya, when we helped them there, what happened is the American ambassador that killed. And with these people we are helping now in Syria, they're the one. Let's not blame anyone else. It's the factor that we armed them, that they got armed and killing our people.
And Musarat, you also have a second British aid worker now being threatened.
Exactly.
We do. And
so, hold on, Jallo. Musarat, so how do we react to this?
I think when you say that the British government have to be seen to be doing something, I think that is necessary, because we need to have some sort of reassurance for the British public that their leaders, the people they have elected, are actually trying to do something to protect their citizens. I think also in terms of what needs to be done is here at home. We need to get communities together. We have to bring people together to understand, to try and see if they can come up with resolutions between themselves so that Muslims can stop then justifying their existence in the UK, but instead become I know the word homogenous was used to describe Muslims, but we can be a homogenous community in terms of by the very fact that we're British. But we need to have people doing something, coming together to try and understand what's going on and try and do something about it.
0500 909 693. Ken in Kilmarnock. Hello, Ken.
Good evening, everyone. Let's be clear about this. Let's be honest. The Islamic State people are following very accurately the teachings of the Quran. Please allow me to read what they are taught to do in the Quran. Surah 8, verse 60. Strike terror into the hearts of the enemies of Allah and your enemies. Surah 8:12. I will instill terror into the hearts of unbelievers, smite ye them above their necks, and smite all their fingertips off them. It is not ye who slew them, it was Allah.
I'm sure Asbar Bukhari will want to respond to you.
I absolutely do. Thank you very much. I do want to respond to it, and this is always surprises me when these people they know the Quran better than me. But look, the answer to that is so simple, right? When two British aid guys got killed just now, and what are we going to do? We're going to go bomb them. Why? Because we're striking terror into the hearts of those people who are killing our aid workers. So why can a Muslim? When the Quran, when God says people are killing Muslims, well, God says, well, don't be a pacifist. Islam is not a pacifist religion. It never said turn the other cheek. It says if you see injustice, you fight them. You stop oppression. And so it's nothing to be ashamed about. It's nothing to be embarrassed about. This is a clear injunction in the Quran. No one's disagreeing.
Let me clarify this. What they are doing right now over in these countries, they are doing exactly as Muhammad did in Arabia.
Absolutely, apart from the barbaric bit.
Sir. Hold on. Let me reply, please. Let me reply. Muhammad's proposition to the Arabians in the 6th century was, convert to Islam or die. He was a murderer.
You're making things up now, my friend.
He was a murderer.
You're making things up now.
Hold on. Let's just stop there. Asbar Bukhari.
Look, if you're going to talk about history, you don't just make things up. In Islam, there's a very, very clear injunction in the Quran. People can read it for themselves, and they can buy the Quran anywhere, right? So it says very simply, there's no compulsion in religion. When the Prophet came about, he actually had anyone can follow their religion. It's up to them, right? So there's none of this convert or die. This is a myth. Goes back I don't know since the Crusades. But historically speaking, it's complete fallacy, and I don't know where this guy reads his books, but read some different books and you get a real historical perspective.
Okay. Asghar, thank you. Musra, thank you for joining us tonight. It's 24 minutes past 11.
On DAB Digital Radio, digital TV, downloads and online.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.